Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join us today as we have a really great sublimation tutorial. This time we are working in Sawgrass Creative Studio, and I'm showing you how amazingly simple it is to use your PNG, JPEG, and SVG files. Alright guys, so this is just the main Sawgrass ink page, okay? We are going to go to Creative Studio, and what I'm going to do over here on the left hand side is just choose Start Creating. And this is just going to open up Creative Studio and give us just the very basic layout, the very beginner layout, okay? Now, when I tell you that we are going to learn how to use PNG, JPEG, and SVG files, I don't think you're ready for how insanely easy this is, okay? Now, there are a lot of reasons why you would want to purchase files from outside of Creative Studio, mainly because you get a lot of really great files, and you know, I'm partial to design bundles, of course, but you get a lot of really great files with commercial usage, and you know, you get more flexibility. These could actually be files that you create yourself, files that you purchase. Design Bundles has a great freebie area, you know, plus the Plus membership that you get access to. So lots of really great reasons, but let's go ahead and talk about how to do that. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first started in Creative Studio, this little icon over here on the left that said Designs, I thought, yes, absolutely, this is where I want to go. That is wrong. Where you want to go down here is actually to Galleries, and then click on My Images. You'll see I've already uploaded 2 images, super easy, but it tells you right here, PNG, JPEG, or SVG. So let's click on that, and then we'll just go to Upload because we're going to upload from our Downloads folder. All right, now, these are some folders that I have already downloaded. This one in particular is one we're going to use today. This is a nice PNG. It also has a nice transparent background. So what I'm going to do, it does have Sweet Summertime. I'm also going to add Watermelon. Just that way in case I happen to upload another file, you know, having that watermelon on there may help me in the future. I always try to be descriptive with my names when I can, okay? And basically that adds it right here to the library. And then I can click on it and it brings that right on over to my designing area. And that was it. Super easy, right? Let's go ahead, let's change this. We're going to do a custom canvas. Now I have a SG500, so I'm just going to do this in inches. And we'll do 8.5 inches by 11 inches. And then what I can do literally is just go ahead and rotate it, right? And then size it. Now the only thing that I was disappointed in is the ability to just type in the sizes of your file, okay? I have not found that ability, but it does tell me over here what my dimensions are. So that is also helpful, but I can just position this right here in the center. And there are a couple things that you can do with your images. You can, you know, down here, I'm looking on the right-hand side. There's the objects, which of course is just like a description of what's on there. Your measurements. We're not going to touch on text today, but we're down here under the appearances. All right, and we can rotate, scale, alignment. Here's your log aspect ratio. All right, there are a couple different effects that we could look at. But for the main part, for just the simple part of importing this design, now you do have the option to crop. That can be useful because sometimes designers will group certain like designs together so that when you import them, it's all in one. So you can crop out anything like that. You can change, bring forward and send backwards will affect your layers. But I mean, guys, this is it. I mean, really simple, really easy. Don't worry, I'm not going to stop here. I'm still going to show you the 2 other file types as promised. You can also tile your designs if you're wanting to print more to one page. And eventually I am going to get this rotated correctly. There we go. Okay. So let's go back to Galleries, My Images, and Upload. Back to our Downloads folder. And we're going to do an SVG file. There we go. Now it has the little, it looks like a Internet Edge, Microsoft Edge, or a Chrome file, all right, but that's going to be your SVG file. We'll hit open. And I'm going to do the same thing here and go ahead and save. Now this one comes in different colors. All right, but not all of your SVG files will. So that is important to know kind of what you're working with, because once it's in here, you know, there may be other things that you want to color or ungroup or anything like that. And that is not what you're going to do in this software. All right, so just know that what you're wanting to upload are finished designs. Does that make sense? So I can use an SVG file, and it's really cool to use an SVG file, but just know that that this is what we're working with today, okay? Because at the end of the day, Creative Studio is for printing. It's not going to be like a full designing software. So hopefully that makes sense, and that's why I chose the SVG file that I did. So just keep an eye out, because it's really fun to use the SVG files that you have, but if you're wanting, you know, the full color, and guys, let's face it, that's really one of the benefits of, you know, being able to print sublimation is all the awesome colors and patterns and things that you can use, okay? So I would say you can use SVG files, but they're not really going to do a whole lot for you. And, you know, if you have the choice, I would just go ahead and use the PNG file. We have one more. We're going to do a JPEG file. Now it does come in PNG and JPEG, okay, but that won't always be the case. So I just wanted to show you, and you see how this one looks black around the edge? That's that transparent background that we were talking about. The JPEG does not have that. So that's really the biggest difference that I want to stress, is if you are bringing in elements that you are going to want to layer and overlap and things like that, that transparent background may be really important to you. So if it comes in a PNG, usually go ahead and grab the PNG. If it does not, though, you can still use a JPEG file. There we go. Do you see how the white overlaps on top of this existing file back there? So that, you know, if this is going to be a finished file, not a big deal. That is not a big deal at all. But if it was a case, like I said, where you were going to overlap certain images, then that would be something you would want to keep in mind. Then of course you can just arrange them however you want. There we go. And now all you're going to do is go ahead and go to print, and this will launch your print settings, your print manager, to start walking you through that process. We do have the mirroring checked. Okay, so what that means is that it will automatically mirror these designs for us. And then I'm just going to choose polyester. You know, I don't have an exact project in mind for these, but it's just something I'm going to go ahead and select as a default. And now when I go to print, it should go ahead and launch Print Manager for me, so that it will send this design over and communicate this with my my Sawgrass printer. So there we go, opened right up. And again, we just choose the substrate. We can, you know, change the quality if we want to. I'm going to leave the paper as a default, the tray as a default, and here's that mirror again. And that's what that does, is it flips it for us, so that way we get the reverse image, the mirrored image, whenever we print. And of course, down here at the bottom, I can just choose print, as long as everything looks good in my preview. So print, there we go. And we are successfully printing 3 different files. We have one JPEG file, a PNG file, a JPEG file, and an SVG. So there we go, and that is literally how easy it is to bring in and use these types of images to print with your Sawgrass printer with Sawgrass Creative Studio software. So guys, how do you feel about using your PNG, JPEG, and SVG files directly in Sawgrass Creative Studio? Now, of course, the process was really super easy. Like, I cannot imagine that it gets much easier. And of course, you know, if you're used to a true graphic design software, then this is not as robust of a software as you are used to. But what it is simple, and that's what it's intended to be. So especially if I'm speaking to any beginners out there, this is a really great option to get you started on your sublimation journey. Now, of course, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave those down below. I love hearing from you guys. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, especially if you're a beginner. Guys, we have a lot of really great sublimation videos out there for you. And, you know, hopefully, if you have any requests, you can leave that down there too. Guys, I just really love all the support that you show for the channel. You know, it just really means a lot to me. It makes my day to come back and check in with you guys. And just thank you, and I mean that sincerely. So I'm gonna wrap it up for today, guys, but we'll see you again next time.